Hi and welcome to Best in Tesla. Let's take a look at manufacturing, because this might be Tesla's biggest weapon, even though the manufacturing was the other car makers' big advantage, if you ask the short sellers. But if we look at what Tesla is already doing today compared to the old manufacturer and where Tesla is heading in the near future, then Tesla is, as Elon said they would be, absolutely head and shoulders above everyone else in manufacturing. And Giga Texas, or let's just call it Terra Texas, will be a masterpiece of a factory, unlike anything we have ever seen before. Let's take a look at all this and let's try to imagine what a clean slate like the Terra Texas could look like when Tesla puts everything they have learned so far into that one factory. And let's dive right in. Let's start with have a look at how Tesla is doing in the car industry and the EV market compared to the old car manufacturer, and also compare the factories to each other. Okay, so no matter how we look at it, the world is transitioning to electric vehicles. Norway is of course showing the way with already almost 80% of the market share in October 2020 being electric vehicles. But the trend is pretty much clear in almost every country. Just look at France, where fossil-fueled cars crashed by 25% and EVs quadrupled, and is now 11% of the market share. So we are going electric, no doubt in my mind. And no matter what chart we are looking at, Tesla is doing great. The short sellers are quick to say, look, Tesla is not number one in this country. But they are number 2, or number 3, or number 7, or something like that. And that is still okay. Tesla doesn't have to be number 1 in every country. But they are pretty much in the top of every country Tesla is in, because they are still not in every country. And the short sellers are of course still going to find every bad news they think they see, like, look at Norway. Tesla sale has gone. Haha, Tesla is dead in Norway. But as I have talked about before, Tesla doesn't have many cars left in the beginning of a quarter, therefore can't deliver many cars to customers. But at the end of every quarter, the sales are back up. Just like in Norway, in August, short sellers were out screaming, ha! Tesla is dead in Norway. And in September, they were back up at the number 2 spot of the best-selling EVs. So Tesla is already doing very well in Europe, even though they don't have a factory there yet and have to ship all the cars over here from the US or China. And in his home country, Tesla is just the all-dominating force with 78% of the EV market in 2019. Just nuts. But let's take a look at some of the really big boys in the game and their factories so we can get an idea of just how crazy Tesla's ambitions are. The biggest single car plant in the world is Volkswagen's Wolfsburg plant that is making about 800,000 cars a year, out of Volkswagen's total 11 million cars a year. You could say that your Hyundai Ulsan factory in South Korea is the world's biggest factory, but it is actually made up of 5 independent factories that each make about 300,000 cars a year, bringing the total of all these 5 factories to about 1.5–1.6 million cars a year. Hyundai do have other factories in Asia, Europe, South America and the US, and they make almost 4 million cars a year. Toyota's largest vehicle manufacturing plant in the world is not in Japan, it is in the US in Kentucky, capable of producing 550,000 vehicles a year. Toyota produce about 8.5 to 9 million cars a year. BMW, largest plant in the world in Spartanburg, South Carolina, can deliver about 400,000 vehicles a year. BMW produce about 2.1 million cars a year. And a company like Volvo that we all know is actually only producing about 700,000 cars a year. So this should give us some numbers to compare Tesla's factory and production numbers to, because Tesla is on its way to produce and deliver 500,000 cars in 2020. So they are not far off becoming just as big a car manufacturer as Volvo, and will surpass them next year. Because Tesla's Fremont factory has as of now a production capacity of almost 600,000 a year, 590,000 to be exact. And Shanghai has as of now a production capacity about 250,000 Model 3s per year. But next year in 2021, and let me just add an oh my god, what a year this is going to be, Tesla expects to be able to produce about 300,000 Model 3s and 250,000 Model Ys. So they will produce about 550,000 cars in their Gigafactory in China. And as we have just seen, this is more cars than pretty much any other car manufacturer plant in the world except Wolfsburg's plant and Tesla's own Fremont, and on par with Toyota's biggest plant. So the Gigafactory 3 in Shanghai will already next year, the second year of operation, being the third biggest car manufacturer plant in the world. And the combined capacity of Gigafactory 3 and Fremont will be over 1 million cars. And then Tesla will be a bigger car manufacturer than Volvo. Fancy that, already next year. But this kind of pales in comparison to the factories Tesla are building right now. The Gigafactory in Berlin, when it's fully complete, will be able to produce about 2 million cars a year. So that single factory will produce almost as many cars as BMW produce in total in a year. It is not going to be fully complete next year, but its first phase of the factory will, and it will start producing cars in the spring of 2021. That is my guess when we look at the progress and the rumors we have heard about people being told by Tesla that they will get their made in German Model Y delivered next summer. And with the expertise Tesla has got of ramping up a totally new product, I have no doubt that Tesla will quickly hit a production rate of more than 3,000 cars per week coming out of Giga Berlin factory. Let's just say they hit the 3,000 per week when we hit summer 2021. And not count the other cars they will be making in the spring of 2021, but only the ones from July to December. Then Tesla will be able to get about 72,000 cars out of the factory in Berlin next year. And that is if we are very conservative, if you ask me, because we do expect Tesla to produce about 250,000 Model Ys out of Gigafactory 3 next year, and that is over 5,000 cars per week, and they have not yet started real production of this car yet, but will probably begin at the end of this month or start of next month. And they expect to produce an average of more than 5,000 cars per week in 2021, so I can't see why Giga Berlin shouldn't be able to do something similar. So if they will be able to produce an average of 5,000 cars per month from July to December in 2021, we are looking at 120,000 cars coming out of the factory in Berlin next year. So let's take something in the middle there and say Giga Berlin will contribute with about 100,000 cars next year. And that is on top of the 550,000 cars coming out of Shanghai and the 590,000 coming out of Fremont. So that would add up to about 1.25 million cars in 2021. That is as much as the brand Skoda delivered globally in total in 2019. But we are not done yet, because Tesla is building an even bigger plant in Texas. And just remember how much Tesla learned from the Fremont, Nevada factory and just how efficient the Shanghai factory is. And the Gigaballoon is going to be even better than the Gigafactory 3. And Tesla will take everything they learned from building the Gigafactory 3 and put that into the Gigafactory 4. And the Gigafactory 5 in Texas is going to be even crazier than the Gigafactory 4. This is going to be a whole new kind of beast. And Tesla really wants this factory to be done because they just started a 24/7 construction on the site. This factory will be up and running faster than all the rest. That is already the fastest built factories of that size in the world. And I really think Tesla is going to use the Texas plant as a clean sheet, because Tesla is building all their factories from the ground up, except the Fremont factory, of course, they bought from Toyota and GM. So they can make a factory exactly as they want. And as you can see, from the Fremont factory to the Nevada factory to the Shanghai factory to the Berlin factory, they are not just building a copy of the old factory, they are constantly improving and innovating on the machine that builds the machines. And Elon has said many times before, there is room for many times more innovation in the manufacturing itself than in the cars. And Tesla is doing exactly that, coming up with new and better ways to manufacture from factory to factory. Just take the Berlin factory, that is straight off the bat going to produce cars using the new big casting machines that makes the whole underbody in just 3 pieces, and each piece can be cast in under a second, saving 40% in price, a massive amount in time, because Tesla saves 79 pieces in the underbody they used to stamp and weld together to make the underbody. This just one thing is a huge innovation in the car manufacturing, something no other car manufacturer has ever done. Tesla did not just look at the other car manufacturer and think we have to be as good as they are to manufacture a car. No, they went back to first principle and said, how do you actually manufacture a car the most efficiently? And Tesla did learn the hard way with the production in the Fremont factory, where Elon hoped he could build his alien dreadnought, where the whole process was pretty much operated by robots. But that almost killed Tesla back in 2018 when they had to ramp up production of the Model 3. But Tesla quickly learned, and we saw with the Gigafactory 3 in Shanghai that was built and started production and delivered the first car in less than a year. Simply just insane. And are already producing over 5,000 Model 3s a week in that factory. That is only 10 months old. And with the speed of the construction of the Gigafactory 5, I don't see why we shouldn't expect this factory first phase being done in the spring as well. The speed is faster than we saw at Gigafactory 3 and 4, and they are now moving to construction 24/7. So I believe this will also be done in less than a year, just like the Gigafactory 3. And they started at the end of July 2020, so I guess they could be done in maybe May or June. Anyway, I definitely think they're going to be producing cars in the Terra, Texas factory in the second half of 2021. And not just cars, they will produce a semi-truck, Cybertruck, Model Y and the Model 3 at the Gigafactory 5. And don't forget their own batteries. And when it comes to batteries, I do think Elon Musk will attempt another try at the alien dreadnought, because there are no wires and a lot of complicated stuff to assembly. I think we will see Elon's alien dreadnought making batteries like crazy at the Terra, Texas factory. And then we will of course see more production of cars coming out of the Terra factory in 2021, to add on top of the 1.24 million cars they probably already will produce between the other 4 factories. Then it's just a question of what will they begin with at the Terra, Texas factory. They have over 800,000 pre-orders of the Cybertruck they can just dive into, or they can help produce more of the popular Model 3 and Model Y, or get the Tesla semi-truck truly off the ground. Anyway, I think we can definitely add some production to the factory in 2021 and maybe just raise the production numbers to 1.3 million vehicles, whatever they may be, in 2021. And with 1.3 million already next year, Tesla is suddenly no longer a little niche car company. They are actually becoming a rather big player already next year, surpassing brands like Volvo, Skoda, Opel in production of passenger vehicle, and is closing in on Audi's 1.8 million or BMW's 2 million, and will definitely surpass those two in 2022 if Tesla continues to sell every car they make, which I expect them to do. And don't forget, in 2023 we will also see the Model 2, or whatever it's going to be called, and Elon have said that both Berlin and Shanghai will design original cars, so Tesla is far from done making new models. But let's jump back to the Terra, Texas factory and just imagine what will happen at this factory, because it sounds like Tesla is going to try a lot of new stuff at this factory and also making it a very nice place to be, not just another boring factory in an industrial gray concrete area. It will have lakes and creeks and trees and parks and open to the public. So Terra, Texas will be an environmental friendly place that will become not just a stunning factory, but a park where people can enjoy nature and relax. So it should be a very nice place, first of all, but the factory is also going to do something very different. Elon did confirm on Twitter that the green areas shown on this map by Jeff Roberts are not open areas. It will not be 3 different factories. It will be one big factory, but the green areas inside the building are internal semi-truck roads. So Tesla will be driving their semi-truck through the building. Well, that's kind of a new one, also because you would not be able to do that with the old nasty polluting diesel trucks going through a building like that. So this will be a very unique thing for the Terra, Texas factory. But how will they exploit this? Well, let's just do some crazy speculation, because that's always good fun, about how this could play out. And when we also know that the Boring Company is hiring Austin, Texas, it all starts to get really fun. Because if the Boring Company is going to make tunnels in Austin, maybe they are going to make it very easy for people living in Austin to get to the Terra factory by digging a tunnel from Austin straight out to the Terra factory. That is only about 10 to 12 miles away in a straight line. So that could be one option. And remember, the Austin International Airport is located only a couple of miles away in a straight line in the direction of Austin from the Terra factory. So it could also be a part of a transportation system like the one they are already building in Las Vegas to go from the Terra factory to the airport to the city center. That would be very cool. But even cooler and more sci-fi would be if the semi-trucks that are going through the building could drive straight into a tunnel at the Terra factory and get under all the traffic surrounding Austin and the international airport and just pop up long away from the factory and being able to jump straight on one of the big main roads going away from Austin. That would just be amazing. So you could live in a house in Austin, take their Tesla loop straight out to work at the Terra factory and be there in just a couple of minutes. See the semi-trucks coming in and driving through the factory, out the other end and straight down into a tunnel and disappearing without making much noise at all, being electric, so it doesn't disturb your nice lunch in the Tesla park. It all sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie or something far out in the future, but it doesn't necessarily need to be far out in the future. The Boring Company has done amazing progress and are already on their 3rd generation of the boring machine called Profrog. The first one was called Godot and the second one Godot Plus. But Profrog has been designed to launch directly from the surface, which I don't think any other can do. The others have to build a very big and expensive launch hole, but the Boring Company does not. They can simply just drive up to the site with the machine on a truck, drop it off on its tilt stand and start digging within 48 hours. and Profoc will achieve speeds that are already more than 10 times faster than Godot, and they can dig 1 mile of tunnel in just 8 to 12 weeks. So let's make this very simple and just go with 10 weeks, and 1 mile of Boring Company tunnel only cost about $10 million. So if they throw off one Boring machine at the airport and another one at the Terra factory within half a year, they would have built the two 2-mile long tunnels going to and from the airport and the Terra factory. And if they did the same thing with the city center and the airport, 2 machines digging at the same time, making 2 tunnels from the airport to the city center about 7 miles apart in a straight line, would not take more than 1.5 years to complete. So that would come out to about 18 miles of tunnel and cost about $180 million. Pocket change compared to Tesla's $14 billion in the bank. But the tunnel for the semi-truck would of course have to be a bit bigger, and that will of course raise the price of the tunnel. I have no idea how much, but let's just say a tunnel that can fit the semi-truck will cost twice as much, $20 million per mile. And they also need to build 2 tunnels of 10 miles to get away from the Austin traffic, so that would be 20 miles of $20 million a mile. That is $400 million. So for a little over $500 million, Tesla, the Boring Company and the city of Austin would have built all what I have just imagined. A Tesla loop from the city to the factory with a stop at the airport. And the bigger tunnel for the semi-truck are probably also going to take a little bit longer to build. So instead of 1.5 years, let's just say they can do it in 3 years or so. And if they begin digging sometimes next year in 2021, they could be done by 2024 with all these tunnels, or maybe 2025, but it is not in the very far future. But this is just around the corner when we will experience something that sounds like science fiction today. The Tesla Terra factory could become something very special, not just another big car factory like the rest, but something we have never seen before, and also becoming the biggest car factory in the world. And that is still just the beginning, because Tesla will learn a ton of things from building this one-of-a-kind Terra factory and be inspired to do things in a totally new and different way for their next Terra factory. That is probably not going to look like anything we have seen today. And in just a couple of years, in 2023, Tesla will be one of the biggest car manufacturers in the world, and definitely the world's most efficient car manufacturer. And none of the other guys have even started thinking differently when it comes to manufacturing. The other guys are still trying to catch up with Tesla in terms of making the best EVs, but are still manufacturing the cars as they have always done. So yeah, they think they might be catching up a bit with their cars, but don't even realize that Tesla has overtaken them in so many ways that has nothing to do with how the car drives, the range, the performance, but the manufacturing of the car itself. Yes, the Tesla was revolutionary and has won pretty much every prize there is to win in the car industry, but Tesla's true end game when it comes to its cars is manufacturing. As the man himself, Elon Musk, said, eventually every car company will have long-range electric cars. Eventually every company will have autonomy, but not every company will be great at manufacturing. Tesla will be absolutely head and shoulders above everyone else in manufacturing. That is our goal. And that is Tesla's key to the future of the car market. And thank you for watching. And until next time, take care out there and be nice.